Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin from Florals.com and I'm back with Sara Scraps here doing another card making for Scrapbookers series. If you guys have not checked them out before, definitely go to both of our channels and check them out. I'll have Sara linked down below in case so you can check out her video for this month. Every last Wednesday we do a project, a card, using scrapbooking supplies and featuring one specific item. So this month we're featuring Flair. Now a lot of Flair are actually really bulky and will not hold up well in the mail. But there's a couple new manufacturers or designers on the market who are introducing these flat Flair that are like epoxy badge sort of types, and we're featuring those in today's video. So mine are from Scrap and Happy Studio, but there are some other lovely, lovely designers out there. These are just the ones I happen to pick out. And I'll be using those today as sort of accents as well as sentiments for my cards. So if you're looking through your scrapbooking supplies and find that you have something that could also serve well as a card, maybe pull that out and really try to challenge yourself to make one. I'm starting my card base off with some craft cardstock. This is 110-pound cardstock that you can get at Michael's, and I have it cut to 11 by 4 1/4. And that's scored in half, so at 5 1/2, and then it makes an A2 size note card. So this fits in a standard size card envelope, which is really nice, my favorite size of card. I also put a little bit of my washi tape out. If you guys know anything about me, it's that I use washi tape on almost every single project. It's something that I really couldn't imagine my life without now that I'm addicted to it. So here I had this very old Citrus Bliss paper cut down to 4 by 5 1/4, so it'd have a nice craft border around the edges. Now my materials that I plan on using are all here on the left side of the page. So I do have these really adorable stickers, and I have a video coming out later this year where I go through my stash and start getting rid of things that I don't think will serve me in 2020, so stay tuned for that. But I almost got rid of these little monkey stickers, and I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to use them in the cards this month. I thought they were really darling. They'd be great for my niece or a baby cousin that I have. You know, they're just precious little monkeys. These were probably a gift to me from a few years ago. You know, when you tell your extended relatives, like your aunts or uncles, that you're into crafting, they just buy random things for you. And this was one of those things, you know, from a family or friend. And it was these monkey stickers. Now I will say I do have to really fight to get this guy off of the backing. I have had these for years. So here I really speed it up so I can really get him into place. Now I have some of these die cut shapes on my desk. They're actually a Spellbinders die, and I just had some leftover ones from a card that I made earlier in 2019. I would say at least a couple months ago. So that's pretty fun that I had those that I could use. So I grabbed this monkey who is upside down on a vine holding a banana. And I also have this stamp set that really matches well that I picked up recently. It's a little fruit stamp set, so there's bananas and pineapples in it, and there's a sentiment on that stamp set that says thanks a bunch. Now, if you have a lot of theme stickers in your stash, perhaps like these monkey stickers, you might not need a sentiment to go with it. You could just write happy birthday on the inside or happy birthday on the outside even. But if you do have some of these pun stamp sets, I highly recommend holding on to them. I find them so cute for cards, but you can always do some without stamping as well. So my second example will not include stamping in case you're not a stamping person. I know it's not for everyone. But I had this Flair in mind when I started this. I thought the neutrals in the heart really matched well with the little monkey here, and I thought it'd be a nice, you know, element to add for a thank you card. Always nice to add a little heart. Here I added an extra banana sticker, and what's really nice is they actually have spare leaf stickers on here as well. Now, as you can tell, all of them are really, really hard to peel up. So since they were so sticky, I felt there wasn't a big need to put on a ton of adhesive on the bottom of them, because usually I add a little extra adhesive to all of my stickers. But this time I opted not to because they were so sticky to begin with. And with that, we have our first finished card. I did leave this one relatively simple. No rhinestones, no nothing at the end there, but you'll see close-ups of both of them at the end, so don't worry, we'll revisit it. So for my other card, I decided to go with the other orientation of an A2 size card, which is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm going to do the same thing, grab one of these My Mind's Eye really old papers, like really, really old papers. I think these might be 2012. And I'm going to use this little polka dot, and it's cut to 4 1/4, no, actually it's cut down to 4 by 5 1/4, so we can have that border again. And I already knew I wanted to use one of these Flair that has these really cute sayings. This one says, life is an adventure, go explore, or life is an adventure, be an explorer, my bad. And I decided to use that as my sentiment, and of course I need one of these little monkeys, but I needed a vehicle for the monkey to sit on since the background's quite busy. I decided to play off the circle theme we already have going on and pull out some of my cardstocks that match this pattern paper. These are some of the DCWV jewel tones from this paper pack I've had for a couple years now, but I really enjoy it. It's nice to have these little colors of cardstock to either matte photos on, to use for cards like I do. And what's also really fun is I use some tools on this. I didn't expect to do this. Most of the time when I make cards, I don't have a plan unless I know who the card is for. Then I generally have an idea of what I want. When I'm just making cards for my card stash, I usually just kind of go in, have some fun with it, play around with supplies, and I'm glad I got to use a circle punch on this. So here's another little monkey that I'll be peeling off and struggling to put on. They're just so sticky, guys. I cannot express that enough, how bad it was. In a good way, though. I'd rather it be too sticky than not sticky enough, I think. Here I pull out some of my other circle punches. So I have a 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch, I think that's 1 1/4 inch, and then I have my Flair there. So what I decided to do is layer that Flair under one of those. I'm not liking the spacing on this card, so what I decided to do is just rotate it a little bit. And that's what I really like about these types of cards, is you can really just, you know, really go with the flow. Since they're a rectangular design, you don't have to worry too much about which way it's oriented, because you could do either direction. And I really love how this one turned out. So I do have my monkey in place. I'm also looking for some sort of smaller circles to go with this, because I think it looks a little bit like it's missing something. So I start gluing everything down, and I just use my normal ATG tape and make sure the glue is actually on the back of the pattern paper, because sometimes it wraps around, and we have that firmly in place. And then next up is my little monkey, my sentiment, and the coordinating circles that go with it. I'm trying to decide if I want any of this on some foam adhesive. First I want to glue down my Flair. Since that's a dimensional object, I want to make sure there's enough glue on that where it's not a problem in the mail if it were to get caught a little bit on an envelope, for example. But if you do plan on using large Flair on cards, I'd recommend those would be ones that you hand deliver rather than put through the mail. Those can be a little bit more tricky when it comes to the postal service, especially in the United States. So here I put my little monkey on some foam squares, which I think is really cute. He's like waving hello. So precious. And I'm going to glue down my other elements before I put the little monkey into place. Now, like I said, I'm going to have the Flair serve as my sentiment, so there will be no stamping on this layout, on this card, but you could definitely do stamping if you have stamps to go with it. A simple thank you, happy birthday. Doesn't have to be a pun. Just grab one of those cute die cuts from your stash that you don't know how to use. I know we all have like giraffes, toucans. There was a big hedgehog phase at one point. There's lots of little cute creatures you might find struggle to use on a regular scrapbook page, but they're absolutely perfect for cards, guys, I promise. Here I'm going to grab some super old rhinestones. I don't know if anyone actually uses rhinestones anymore, but I grabbed the green and magenta ones and put them around my pieces on this card. But that's it for this card too, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Sarah is sharing some really cute fall cards, so definitely check out her channel. I'll have it linked down below, and I'll try to have supplies linked down below as well for you guys. Bye!